So, I have received an update, finally, though I had to push for it, because it's been a week since I took it into the shop, but hey, it was actually on the bench when I called, so should get another update within 2 days, and hopefully, unfortunately, well, yeah, it's not particularly great news, but there are some good things to come out of this. For starters, it was originally thought that it might be a RAM problem. That does not seem to be the case. They've tested the RAM and said it's fine. No problems detected. They've also tested my hard drive. So my data is still intact and it can be recovered. In fact, the hard drive is apparently fine, hunky-dory, so it could potentially just be plugged into another PC, and should be fine. Though I think the boot files are still probably a bit knackered, so those would still need to be fixed. Unfortunately, that's kind of where the good news ends. Well, aside from the graphics card, but the graphics card is fine. But yeah, it seems that the problems, though they haven't finished all the tests yet, because I kind of interrupted them, so they haven't done all the tests. They said it's looking like it's going to be a motherboard issue, or that it has a motherboard issue, probably. They call it a central control unit or something, which is basically the motherboard. Yeah, they've been running into problems when they've been running their tests, in that the PC just sort of locks up. Which is quite alarming, because it only locked up. Well, it rarely locked up, even. Like, I think one day after I first got it, it locked up and I had to sort of force restart it. Or I didn't wait, it took ages and eventually I force restarted it. And then it didn't really lock up again until, I don't know, sometime last year? And it was once, sort of, well, it didn't really lock up, it more sort of froze and then unfroze eventually, and it was fine after that. And then the night before it had its issue, it sort of froze twice in quick succession. I was transferring, or attempting to transfer my the installer folder of the Armstrong Powerhouse 411 to one of my external hard drives for, I don't know, in case it ever needed reinstalling. Because sometimes these things happen. Sometimes you get errors. Sometimes, or I don't know. I just have a bit of a habit. I back up the installers of my file of the Armstrong Powerhouse packs. So I was about 60% of the way through that copying to my hard drive, and the PC just sort of started, I don't know, getting slower and slower, and I actually noticed that the file transfer, had just completely stopped, and eventually it just sort of ground to a halt. Nothing was moving. Even the cursor of the mouse wasn't moving. And that was slightly alarming, but it sort of got better and stopped, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make certain that this folder file thing, it copied over fine, so I'll copy it again. And the same thing happened. And though it eventually copied the replacement, it eventually copied the file folder thing over to the external hard drive. but then it froze again, and this time it like properly froze for about 5 minutes. It happened quite early in the morning, so it was about 12:45 when it froze, and it unfroze about 5 minutes later. Like I was looking. I've got a clock just there, so the PC was reading 00:45, whilst the clock was reading 00:50. Usually they're completely in sync. So after that, I turned the PC off, and the following morning, that's when it had all the issues, and yeah, I've kind of gone on a bit of a tangent, I think, but whatever. So yeah, I have been noticing there has been an error message every time I've been turning it on as of late. Normally, it would be absolutely fine. I turn the PC on, and you get because it's a HP machine, you get the HP logo on the screen, flash a couple of times, and then it will go bring up the Windows logo and the spinning, loading thingamajig, and eventually it would reach the desktop and all would be hunky-dory. And then, I want to say, November, December, it started having it started telling me, well, it started bringing up the HP logo as normal, but it would stay up for ages, and then it would go away, and it would say that there was a ME error, or management engine error, and then it would sort of attempt to restart, and occasionally it would sort of get stuck a second time, and every time I did that, the error message for that would be 2233 HECI error during MEBX execution. And I don't know what the hell that means. but I thought that was sort of like a dead end. So I just switched the PC off, turn it back on, and it would tend to start back up fine again after that. But then one day it just decided to not do it properly, and I thought that was when it was bricked. Well, not bricks, but that's when it was just failing to start. And then I should have brought it into the shop then, I suppose, but it started doing that every time I turned it on. ME error, 2233 error, and eventually I figured out that all I had to do to get the PC to boot into the OS was hit F1 on the keyboard. So I kept doing that. I did that and it was fine for a few days, I think, but then it eventually just, the only way I could get the PC to start properly was by hitting F1. Then, I suppose a failing motherboard would explain the 164 memory size error that I got on the day it had the failure. So, that's why it was reading RAM as being incorrect configuration, or sort of being removed and replaced as something. So, yeah. Now, it could be a BIOS issue, but, you know, they have to finish their tests. If it is a BIOS issue, I'd be surprised, because, I don't know. I don't know if just updating the BIOS would fix it. I have no idea. Maybe, but it sounds more like it's a fundamental issue and something that's can't be fixed, which would mean they'd have to replace the motherboard. And that is where things start to get a bit more daunting, because the motherboard is proprietary. You see, the PC I bought is a It's an old business sort of office PC. A HP Compact Elite 8200 slim form factor. So it's a low profile PC. Yeah. So it's smaller than most PCs. That's why I've got a low profile graphics card, because a normal graphics card wouldn't fit in there. You see, I don't know exactly how old these PCs are, but they've been around for a little while, and I think HP doesn't make them anymore, I don't think. And because they're low profile, the motherboards and the power supplies have been made more or less especially for them. So I don't think there's a motherboard or a power supply out there that can be fitted into it. Like, there's no third-party power supply that would fit into it because it's too small. And the motherboard, I think it's the same sort of issue. I can't fit a third-party motherboard into there. Like, I'd love to get myself a gaming motherboard, but I don't think it's gonna fit. So the motherboard in question, because these are fairly old PCs and I don't think they're made anymore, it might be quite difficult to find a replacement motherboard. I've looked around, I've found a few, so it shouldn't be impossible to get one, but I don't think any of them are new. They're all either used or refurbished, which is why I think that they're not made anymore. Worst come to worst, if worst comes to worst, and if a replacement motherboard cannot be sourced, that's the PC written off, basically. And yeah, that's not good. Hopefully a motherboard can be sourced, but I think I'm going to have to try and start saving for a better PC, unfortunately. Because who knows how long a replacement board could last. I've had this PC less than 3 years, and if it's written off already because of a faulty motherboard, it's just that PCs are not cheap, right? They really are not cheap. Oh, I want to stop growling, tummy, honestly. And just... this is kind of why I wanted a gaming laptop, I suppose. I don't know. When I still was using the laptop, I wanted to upgrade to a laptop, but those cost thousands. And in the end, the desktop was cheaper. In the end, that's what it is. It's price. Everything's so expensive these days. It's distressing. Because I don't often go without a PC. There have been... God, they've not been very many weeks at all in many years. There have been days I've gone without it. I mean, I think I haven't gone a day without any sort of PC access since 2012. Well, almost. There have been a few weeks where I've gone without. 2017. In fact, it was... Yeah, 2017 when... there was a brief incident in 2014 when the hard drive on my laptop failed and I had to go back to the old Advent laptop for a couple of days. In 2017 there was the blue screen issue of my laptop, and that took about 2 weeks to get done because they forgot about it for about a week, and it took a week to fix it or something. It took ages. And now this. Oh, and in 2018 I went to Tank Fest and only had access to my phone then, so... yeah. This is... It's just really quite distressing that my PC could potentially end up as written off. I hope it won't be. As I said, I've been able to find I think they're the right motherboards on eBay and Amazon. So I should be able to source a part, even if they can't. So, yeah, if the motherboard is deemed dead, should be able to get a replacement. Even if I have to get it. But, I'm this close to the PC being declared done, written off. Because it's a slim PC. When I was ordering it, I didn't know it was going to be a slim PC. I thought it was going to be a proper one. Proper size. But no. Slim. Low profile. I don't even know if I have the... even if I have to get a replacement PC and it's a full-size one, I don't even know if where I've put the full-size bracket for my graphics cards. The 1050 didn't even come with a full-size bracket. It only came with the little one. And I don't know where I put the 1650s. I mean, it was in the box at some point, but I've put that somewhere. I've misplaced it. So I need to go digging for that. Yeah. So... still trying to keep my chin up. Should be able to get replacement parts. I mean, they are out there. It's been a very tough week. And it's probably going to be quite tough for probably another week at least. But hopefully I'll have my PC back with it. Hopefully at least in 2 weeks' time. That's being a bit pessimistic, but I hope that how long is 2 weeks away? Yeah, hopefully by the middle of February. Yeah, I'm being very pessimistic about it, but I've been let down before, so trying to keep my chin up, and hopefully things will be back to normal quite soon. So, and a status update. I'll let you know more when it comes.